Remember those tariffs President Trump put on China back in 2018? They were a big deal back then, making headlines and sparking debates. Well, they're still here in 2025. President Biden has a tough choice to make. Should he keep the tariffs or get rid of them? Right now, his administration is looking at the situation very carefully. They're trying to figure out the best course of action. It's a big decision with big consequences. Some people say the tariffs are working. They argue that the tariffs have forced China to make changes to its trade practices. Others disagree. They say the tariffs are actually hurting the U.S. economy. They point to higher prices for consumers as evidence. One of the biggest impacts of the tariffs has been higher prices. These tariffs, which were initially aimed at protecting domestic industries, have had a ripple effect throughout the economy. When those tariffs were first put in place, we saw prices on a lot of goods go up. Everyday items from groceries to household products became more expensive almost overnight. Remember when washing machines got more expensive? That was one of the first signs that tariffs were starting to bite into consumers' wallets. Or how about the price of solar panels? The cost of renewable energy solutions also saw a significant hike, making it harder for people to invest in green technology. Those price increases are still with us today. Despite some efforts to mitigate the impact, the higher costs have become a new normal for many. Economists are divided on just how much the tariffs are contributing to overall inflation. Some believe that the tariffs are just one of many factors driving prices up. Some say it's a small impact. They argue that other elements like supply chain disruptions and increased demand play a larger role. Others argue that it's a significant factor. They point to the direct correlation between the introduction of tariffs and the subsequent rise in prices. But one thing is for sure, higher prices hurt everyone, especially families who are already struggling to make ends meet. For these households, every price increase means making tougher choices about what they can afford. The tariffs have created winners and losers in both the US and China. These economic measures aimed at protecting domestic industries have had a ripple effect across various sectors. Some American companies have benefited from the tariffs. These companies, often in industries that were struggling to compete with cheaper imports, have found new opportunities to grow. For example, steel producers have seen an increase in business. The higher costs of imported steel have made domestically produced steel more attractive to buyers. That's because the tariffs made imported steel more expensive. This price increase has led to a boost in demand for American-made steel, helping to revitalize the industry. But other industries have been hurt, like manufacturers who rely on cheap Chinese parts. These companies now face higher production costs, which can lead to higher prices for consumers. In China, the tariffs have also had a mixed impact. While some sectors have struggled, others have adapted by seeking new opportunities. Some Chinese companies have been hurt by the tariffs. These businesses have had to deal with reduced demand from the US, leading to layoffs and factory closures. They've had to find new markets for their products. This shift has required significant adjustments, but it has also opened up new avenues for growth. But others have actually benefited. By diversifying their markets, some Chinese companies have found new customers and increased their sales. They've been able to sell their goods to other countries at lower prices. This competitive edge has helped them to thrive despite the tariffs. The future of the tariffs is uncertain. As global trade dynamics continue to evolve, the long-term effects of these policies remain to be seen. President Biden has a lot to consider. The decisions he makes will have far-reaching consequences for both the US and global economies. He needs to weigh the costs and benefits. Balancing the interests of various stakeholders is a complex task that requires careful deliberation, and he needs to find a solution that works for everyone. Achieving a fair and sustainable trade policy will be crucial for future economic stability.